Good morning, and thanks for joining us. This is Stacy Martin, and this is Coffee and Real Estate Scoop with Stacy Martin with Keller Williams Realty. And I'm so excited to have our guest today, Lucia Tirondola, and she is with Manor Works Painting, and she's been kind enough to be our guest today. So I'm super excited to have her and talk with her a little bit today about her and her business. But just real quick, Lucia lives in Aldi, where her and her family operate Manor Works Painting. And they've worked there for many years. And the company has been operated for 20 years, but she and her husband, Victor, have owned and managed Manor Works Painting for the past 3 years. So their heart is in this business wholeheartedly, and she's talked to me about it extensively, and we're gonna share some of what she has to say today. So Lucia, welcome, and thank you so very much for joining us. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So tell us a little bit about your business.
Manor Works Painting has been around for 20 years. My husband and I moved here from New Jersey to start working at Manor Works 6 years ago.
Wow.
Where my husband was the lead estimator. He helped manage. And 3 years ago, the previous owner said, "Would you like to purchase this business?"
Wow.
We've been very impressed since the time we were here with how it was run. We love the crews and have gotten really familiar with the business. My husband's third generation painter, so he's been painting since, high school. Before that, as soon as he could pick up a brush, his grandfather showed him the ins and outs of painting. So when we had the opportunity to purchase, although a little daunting to be in small business, we were super excited because we believed in the quality and what sets us apart from other painting companies. So we dove in as a family.
Great. And so what had been your background before that?
My background is graphic design. So it was a perfect fit that I could help market. I would say that my background is not networking, but I've now plugged myself in. Loudon is just amazing when it comes to offering so many things to do for small business that you have to pick and choose, where you're gonna go. But we're happy to be members of the chamber, which has been a wonderful tool to help us network.
Awesome. Well, good. Well, tell us a little bit how you handle, your appointment process and what's going on now with COVID. Are you doing estimates? Are you able to get out and do work? Tell us a little bit about how we can, get people to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity to just talk about the business and to let everybody know that we're open. I believe that that's kind of a tricky thing with this COVID is who's essential, who's not essential. Well, we fall into essential because we are part of the whole contracting and home improvement world. We have pulled back from doing interior unless someone is about to move in and the home is empty. So we have been blessed that we have continued to work exterior. It has, obviously it's not a normal year, and we've had to adjust. How we take our appointments, a lot of our business comes in word of mouth. We have tons of loyal customers and repeat customers. We have parents who purchase painting jobs for their children. It's really awesome because we have a really high retention. So a lot of them come in either by just phone call to the office, which our office manager is my mother-in-law. She is amazing. Or it comes in through online. Facebook has been amazing. We also have a online contact sheet where someone can go on and make their appointments online, which I think is really helpful now. And really for exterior appointments, how we've been dealing with them is most of the time before COVID, people are working. So they'll give, a detailed explanation of what they want. And then my husband will go out and do the exterior estimate, follow up with a phone call and shoot out the estimate to the client via email. So that really hasn't changed other than now people are home. They could talk to him, walk outside with him, keeping social distance or not, and he just follows up with a call. It's really whatever keeps the customer the most comfortable.
Right. Now you were telling me that you do both residential and some commercial work, right? So are some of the commercial spaces also vacant, and how do you go about doing that? I can imagine that some of them might be closed down right now because maybe their folks are working at home.
Yeah, we have tapped into pretty much encouraging people to do the exterior of their homes, because one thing that has not stopped is HOA. You know, they're still going around telling you what needs to be improved, and really waiting one season to the next full year can really increase the cost of your home improvement greatly.
Mm-hmm.
And we just now are starting to encourage and let people know that, you know, a great time to paint the interior of your business is now. It's empty. You don't want to close again.
Yeah.
We are wearing masks, gloves. The guys have their booties on like they normally wear all of this protective gear, but now it's even more so. Our max crew size is 4, but most of them are 3. We have 6 crews. So when we come in, it's not like we're coming in like over 10 people. We're very careful, very clean. We cover. So I was hesitant to advertise that before really a lot of the loans came through. I didn't want to be insensitive, but really, if you think about it, this is the best time. If you've been supported and you can do it now, you really should.
Right. Great point. One thing you said is that the cost could be higher if they were to wait. And I feel that that's something that I share with my clients in the residential world about waiting. When you wait too long, if you have wood rot and those things, they just increase and create other additional problems and potentially water intrusion in the home if you wait. So those are some things that you probably could talk to as well.
Yeah, it's very important. We do a lot of wood rot replacement with PVC.
Mm-hmm.
So people really don't have to worry about, you know, trusting us. We are a class A licensed contractor. We are bonded and insured to $1 million. We are coming in there to assess, you know, any kind of issue with your home. Do other things sometimes pop up when our foremen are there. Our foremen, what I love about our company is they're all on staff and they've been with the company for years. So they have extensive experience. And when they're walking around, sometimes they uncover things that weren't in the original estimate. Only after taking off some wood, they'll find something that had you waited a year, it could have been, like you said, even more costly. It could really just, you incur more and more costs. And so that is one thing that we are addressing, is we realize that it is a difficult time and people want to hold on to their money, you know, rightfully so. So we've actually just set up with Enter Bank financing.
Okay.
Which is something that we're excited about, especially for exterior or interior, that people can feel that we have like a good as cash loan. They can finance some of their homework so that, you know, 2 years, 3 years down the road, it's not something insanely expensive where they feel like, you know, they can't sell because they have all of this, you know, over $30,000 worth of work for their home.
Right. What are the other projects that you're doing outside right now beyond painting? Because I know some people might need just some other work done. And I know that you have some real experienced staff that does some other things too, right?
Yeah. Well, decks are something that are pretty simple, but again, you don't want to let those things go. So we'll power wash and we can stain your deck and make sure that it stays like new. Another thing that makes us a little different from just the normal contractor is that we do have a lot of experience in restoration. So some of the things that we've done in Alexandria is we have sanded older homes down to the bare wood and really restored them to new. We've ordered the custom shutters. Like some of the work that we've done has to be approved by Alexandria, by the Historic Society. So those are the things that we work with HEPA vacuums to make sure, you know, we're EPA certified. So lead is something that we've been trained to handle. So all those things. Another thing that's very unique to some of the beautiful homes is being able to, it's called, the word is escaping me. We can strip down, chemical stripping. We could strip down, say, a beautiful garage door or a beautiful wooden door and bring it back to new. So they strip it down with a special chemical, and then they apply the stain and different layers of stain in order to get the color that you're looking for.
Mhm.
And really it's gorgeous. It can be done to handrails, doors, garages. We recently did it to the ceiling of a porch to match the door. It's stunning.
That's great. Actually, speaking of that, I was just going to ask you about the ceilings. A lot of the ceilings in some of the homes around the Northern Virginia area are the textured ceilings. And a lot of times people say that's not their preference, that they want to get that taken care of. So what's that process? And, you know, what does that run per square foot? Or is that something that you know, or how do you go about handling that kind of job? And is it worth the money?
We do popcorn ceilings. We do remove wallpaper. We don't apply wallpaper. A lot of that stuff, the one thing I have to say is we don't really do, I couldn't give a price right now just by talking, because one, that's not my expertise. I stay in my lane. That's my husband. But a lot of times people want to say, hey, can I just send you a quick picture? Can you give me a price? Mm-hmm. Sometimes we can do that. Like if it's, I don't know, an exterior, but a lot of times with interior, it's so unique. And those, you know, you don't know what's underneath each layer. And really having someone come in and look with experience and look at it is when you get the best possible price and no hidden costs.
Right.
So I would say that my husband would have to come in and, you know, give his experience and give the best price. But yeah, that's a lot of stuff that people, you know, another house we had in Alexandria, we took out a closet and we installed all crown molding and really made it look brand new. And it did have some of those ceilings as well. People do ignore ceilings.
They do. And you know, I tell people when I go to start working with them to purchase a home, I say, I know that what you tend to look at is a lot of times the things that the people have, you know, they get caught up in, oh, look how cute this is staged and all that stuff. And they're not looking up. And so I tell them to look up, and I say, but don't worry, because I'm trained and I'm going to look up, because that's the first place that I look, because I want it to be a great investment for them. So I'm looking up for any stains and water damage and what the paint job looks like on the ceiling. So I tend to look at those, you know, quite often. So, well, you mentioned Alexandria, and I'm sorry, go ahead.
People don't realize that like a bubbling isn't necessarily a bad paint job. There's something else going on there.
Right.
And what I found too, when you walk into like a brand new, say, home that was a model home before or whatever, it looks great because it's all white. But what you don't realize is someone has come in and they've sprayed the same color from top to bottom. So the difference when people try to save money by not doing trim and ceiling. But when you paint that ceiling the correct white that matches whatever color scheme you're going for, it makes it just like open up. And I mean, the height of the room changes. It really is amazing when you ignore the ceilings and when you don't.
Right. Well, you mentioned Alexandria a few minutes ago. And so I wanted you to tell us about the areas that you cover and that type of thing, because I know it's quite extensive around the Northern Virginia area and even into Maryland, right?
Yes. We are Loudoun County based, but we are Loudoun County. We have Fairfax. We're in Arlington, Alexandria. We used to be in DC, and now we really only service repeat customers there. It's just very difficult to get in and out. And some parts of Maryland.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you recently, or maybe it's more than once, but you received the Best in Loudoun.
Yes, we have. And it was, I mean, when I tell you we were so excited, it's such a great thing. This year we won, and unfortunately Corona stole all that fun. Normally they have like a little celebration party, but yeah, we won this year. It's been the last 3 years that we've had the honor of being in the category of best of, as well as Loudoun Favorites, which has been, and Angie's List Super Service Award. So we take our reviews and our customer service really to heart, because we do know, being in the business, you know, my husband for all those years, how important it is to have communication and to do the best that you possibly can for your customer quality wise.
Mm-hmm.
We use the best paint, we cover, the guys are bend over backwards. And it's because many other people have had horrible their experiences with contractors that don't show up. And so we want to make sure that you feel comfortable, that we post our schedule online so you can track it. So when we're going to show up, you're receiving phone calls and emails. So that's very important to us.
Right.
So thankfully that, the results are we've won some really awesome things and we're so happy about that. So are the guys.
That's great. So you were saying that you use quality products. So can the customer pick their brand of paint, or will you match it with, if they like a certain brand and a color, will you match it to a better quality paint, or how do you go about that?
We can do that. We always recommend Benjamin Moore or Sherwin-Williams, just because they have the best quality. And really, we offer warranties, and we can't warranty Home Depot grade paint. So if you want to have our warranty, it would be with either Benjamin Moore or Sherwin-Williams, but we've done, really whatever the client wants. But yes, you can match. You could say, I love this color that I found at Home Depot, but can you give it to me in Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore? And that can be done.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
It will last a lot longer.
Yes. Yeah. Now, I know you mentioned there was an online portal to, schedule things, et cetera. How far out are you seeing projects right now? Obviously, you're just doing mostly exterior, but how far out is your scheduling? How far, do I need to call potentially to say, I'd like this job done?
Well, we're about, I would say, a month out. So It is important to call now because especially exterior, we're seeing that rush come in because of the May walk around for HOA. And I really do believe, and it just may be because I'm a positive person, that it's going to happen when things open up and people feel more comfortable, that they will be booking interior because they've been trapped at home. And we've all noticed things like, and either we're shopping online or we're writing down every project we want to have done under the sun. Right. So I believe that as soon as really the first week of June hits, we're going to book farther out because of those wish lists, especially being that we can offer the option of financing.
That's great. That's great. Can you go back over that financing real quick, just so we have that fresh in our mind about how we can try to afford our next project?
Yeah, so really normally how we operate is we take a deposit, a one-year deposit before, and then in the middle of the project, and then the balance upon completion.
Okay.
And so that has worked out great for us. Sometimes though, people do have projects that go into 20, 30,000, depending on where they live and what they're doing. And so that has been a time where we're like, wow, we really wish we always work with the customer, but we really wish that we could provide something. It's just an option. You don't have to take it, but I feel like the more options that are given, the more comfortable the client can feel about making their own decision. And sometimes that is a make or break. It's all my shutters need to be taken down, painted, replaced. I've got all this wood rot. What do I do? We really need to sell in a year or so. Then they could say, okay, I have the money. I just don't want to put it out right now. So we could do the 12 months good as cash. So, the payments don't start for 45 days once you've been approved, which takes like 90 seconds. So you could essentially sign up for a job now and not really have to start paying for it till July. And you could pay it off at any time. It's just that extra bit of security at a time like this when you're like, you know what, maybe I'll just hold on to my money for a little bit. Or, we have a choice of over 40 different options with EnerBank, and that's why we went with them. They're specific to homes. So really we want to break it down to the good as cash for me is pretty much the best one because it's 0% interest. But there'll be other options as well, like a 5-year option. If you want to, there's even like options of like as much as 10 to 12 years. So it's whatever would make the customer feel the most comfortable to do their job.
Right. So even if they sold their property, it would just be like another loan they have that's
Yes.
independent? Okay.
Yep.
It's not attached to the property.
Nope. And they would then pay it off right away if they, if all this springs back in the stock market, everyone's feeling comfortable, if they wanted to pay it off like in August or September when they see, they're going back to work, their kids are back in school, or if they say, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and continue to make these payments like I would for a couch if I decided to finance it or whatever,
Right.
It's just
Exactly.
another option. And honestly, for myself, when I was looking at getting a fence done, it made me feel comfortable when I was getting a price that I had that option. I ended up not taking it because I was like, you know what, I can afford this now, but I wouldn't have even entertained the estimate had I not known that that was a possibility.
Yeah. A fallback.
Yeah. So when, after talking to my husband about it, we were like, why not just give another choice?
Right. Right. As long as you're still getting paid and can run your small business the way you need to.
Yeah.
And, I know that you can't run a small business. I mean, as a small business owner as well, you can't run a small business without taking care of people. So whether that be your staff or, your clients, the community, it's a funny thing. It all fits together, right? I mean, you can't do one and not the rest, right?
Exactly. And we really care about our teams, and that especially now, like our goal was really just to come out 6 crews and office staff together feeling, feeling good about the future. I mean, it's not going to be the same as it was. It could be better. We're trying to put our feet forward with these different options, with improving and talking to people such as yourself and getting out there and, just, believing that we have something special to offer clients.
Right. Right. Well, you had said to me in an email that you sent that quality, consistency, transparency, and years of experience are at the heart of what we do at Manor Works Painting. And I think that that's a great little, if that's your tagline or your closing line or whatever, all those things are so important, and especially communication and that transparency. And I love how you said that you have a system where your folks can go online and look and see where their project is, because that is a big concern / worry, right? With people always when they're getting something done and deadlines. And even when folks call me to say they're thinking about moving, and sometimes people will say like, oh, I can have this house packed up in 2 weeks. And I'm like, it's going to take you a lot longer than you think. So, and then I know they're always late to make those calls for repairs and things. They're always thinking, oh, I have time and I'll call and they'll fit me in. But it tends to be, guess what? It's a month. So they need to call early. So I'll remember that as I go to refer you and make sure that people realize, you need to call them sooner rather than later, because to get on the schedule, because guess what, folks that are good, companies that are good, you're going to have a wait, and there's a reason for that. And if you call and, not to put anybody's business down, but if you call and, they're coming right over in 20 minutes, then, they may not be the people that you want if they're not in demand, because I know that with you guys being so busy, it's just because you do great work. So
yeah, we really are trying our very hardest, and we have been slowed down slightly by the rain. So the nice thing about the schedule is people can look, they don't have to feel like they're constantly calling the office to be like, where am I? It's just sometimes we can't prevent, the weather. Don't worry, we're gonna show up. I was just talking to a friend about a horrible contracting situation where they just didn't come back. And, I can understand the position that they were in with Corona, that maybe like they lost some crews or lost track of where their subcontractor went. Mm-hmm. So that is, those are things that can happen. But when you have a core team that's on your payroll, that is something that you don't really have to worry about.
Right. Well, great. Well, Ed just joined us, my husband.
Hello there. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. I was on a field trip this morning, so apologize for being a little tardy to join.
That's okay. Did you have any questions that you wanted to ask Lucia today?
I was wondering, Lucia, I specialize more in the commercial side. So a lot of times I'm helping people who are leasing space for the first time, whether that be office or retail or industrial. What are the top couple things that those business owners, startup business owners, need to be prepared for if they need to paint, if they need painting assistance as part of their remodel? Anything different?
I guess just how important it is to get the right paint, because a lot of times with retail, there's a lot of traffic. So if you're just going to get someone to come in, say a punch person, which a lot of times is what a landlord would get, they're going to spray most likely a flat paint, say a McCormick, on the walls. It could look great for like the day, but as soon as you start moving in, as soon as you start touching the walls and placing all the furniture, it's going to look all scuffed up, and you really can't fix that. That's the one thing that people don't realize with flat paint or low quality paint, that all those abrasive marks on the wall do not wash off. So I would say that if you have a high traffic area where you know people are going to be sitting in your waiting room, or there's going to be kids in there, or that you should use something like a matte paint, which appears like a flat, but it's washable. And if you're going for a higher quality paint like a Sherwin-Williams or a Benjamin Moore, a lot of them have things specific for commercial properties.
Okay.
It may cost more at first, but you'll have to paint less.
That's
and
important.
You'll be prouder of your space, because when you're starting out new, it's amazing in a restaurant if you sit down and you look over to the right and the wall's all scuffed up. It doesn't feel clean. It could have just been washed, but if it has those marks, you kind of it gets that dingy feel quicker.
Right. And one of the things I encounter, I think, more in commercial than residential is different surfaces.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, I've got a multifamily property that has a tin roof.
Yeah.
That has a different type of paint requirement. Maybe someone might have an exposed block wall and they need to paint that as opposed to drywall, depending on what the layout is. Do you encounter those kinds of changes, and anything you would advise business owners?
I would say that in an estimate, my husband would pick up a lot on those things, and he would say to you, this would need to be primed. This would need this kind of paint, this kind of finish. And to take that advice, because if you just say, I could just do that, I'll save it, and I'll just spray it myself, or quickly just pick up paint from Home Depot. Sometimes it'll chip off. It'll just peel right off. And unfortunately, that's money gone, and time wasted, because you haven't booked that person to come in and do the job right so that you can open.
It's a great feedback. A lot of times a business owner might value engineer something out, and I imagine they count on you and their other consultants to talk about the long-term value of making the investment right the first time.
Yeah, because as we know now, closing the doors, it just hurts so much. And when, especially a restaurant that we've done previously, before they open, you want to get everything done right the first time. So when you launch, there's nothing that is left to do. Same thing with dentist offices. Closing is a nightmare, and having to cover things, for, protecting for dust is, very costly. And a lot of times what costs the most in a job that's done right is the prep. It's the covering the floors. It's the covering every little inch, or moving things. It's the making sure that they've got all the nail pops and preparing the wall, possibly sanding the wall, so that when you put that amazing color that you picked out, you're not seeing like every crack, because dark colors make everything, pop out. So you want it done right.
Right. That's great. Now, one other observation I have about commercial customers is sometimes their timelines aren't preference. Like, we want to have our paint job done by next Friday if we can. It's part of a greater project, or it's part of they need to open their doors by a certain time, or it impacts business. Yeah. What do you normally advise them as far as lead time for getting the estimate and getting the project committed to?
I would say at least a month.
Okay.
It's just the smartest way to go, because you have to take into account that there's other jobs. Like, no one likes to think of other people's.
You mean other people have needs? Okay.
Yeah. The fact that there could be a previous customer who may have encountered a lot of rain, so it's pushed things back, or in addition to a job. And you just want to you don't want to feel rushed. Have we done jobs quicker? Yes, we have. And the one thing is, for commercial, there's a lot of competition. And so we're not going to get a job where someone wants the cheapest price that they could just get someone in there spraying. We're not. Like, we've gotten churches where they really care about what it looks like, and so we're painting it. And they also know that, like, we really care about a community, so we're going to extend our paint cost. We're going to do anything we can to make sure that they have their job at the best price possible. Restaurants and offices and things like that, but they could get someone to come in a day who's going to just do it super fast, but that's just not who we are.
Right.
Never underestimate the value of referral, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are great questions.
You bet.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I welcome you to share anything else you'd like us to know and our viewers to know about you guys that, you feel compelled to share, and anything specific?
No, just that we are, trucking away. We have the guys are out on the road, look for our vans. Our foremen are absolutely wonderful. It's amazing how many people come up to them and say, hey, could you do a little side job for us over here? And they will say, please call the office, and follow pretty much the protocol. And it's because it works. The protocol is, you call in, you get it, then you're taken care of, then you're under warranty, then you're protected by insurance.
Right.
And we offer complimentary color consultations, so that is something you wouldn't want to miss out on. And we work with interior designers to do that, so that they can really make your home, they can pick out different things that you've already invested time and money in,
right,
and make it look the best possible. They can also, make other suggestions for future projects. And a lot of our interior designers now have amazing work and relationships with some of our clients. So that has worked out. Another little just tidbit is that you may not know about us is we do Christmas lighting.
Oh.
So that is coming up. We start to advertise for that in July. We kick off Christmas in July. And we actually own a franchise for that, because we know the difference between just a Home Depot light and a commercial grade light is huge. So really what we do is we do that for commercial and residential. We'll go out. Yeah, we'll take pictures of the space and talk to the client about, sometimes in that case, people can just email pictures of the outside of the home.
Mm-hmm.
We'll design something on our, with our program, send it back, and people sign either 1 to 3 year contracts, and we'll come out, put the lights up, set it to a timer, come back, take the lights down. We store them for you. Lights, wreaths. It is, I believe this year, it's going to be magical, because we all really need it. And so I wasn't a believer until I moved into a single family home last year, and we lit up our house. And I can't tell you, every time I pulled into our our neighborhood, I was smiling.
Right.
Because it's so bright and beautiful. I had the warm white lights, and it just made me so happy. We can wrap trees. We've done commercial spaces. We've done a lot of nursing homes, which I think is going to be crucial this year, just to cheer everybody up.
Sure.
So that's something that if you have any commercial or residential space, someone that loves Christmas, we do everything from townhouses to shopping centers. So
excellent. It's a great complementary business, actually, to your main one.
It is, and that's what makes us able to, we don't ever lay our guys off in the winter. We don't really consider ourselves seasonal, because we have 3 crews that go inside and do our interior work, and then the rest of the crews go out and, just light up the town.
Right.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're so happy that we could hear more about Manor Works Painting, and I am going to post this and list all of your information. But in the meantime, I'm just going to say that if you'd like to give Manor Works Painting a call, their office number is 703-339-6800, and you can find them and follow them on Facebook, and that's facebook.com/manorworks. And I will post that with the video here in just a little bit. So thanks again. Enjoy the weekend, and
Have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, we'll be excited to refer some of our clients to you guys.
Yeah, I love to talk to another husband and wife duo. It's wonderful.
Awesome.
We might have to get together and do that with all four of us sometime. So
yes, sounds great.
All right.
Thank you so much.
See you soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.